last night, guys. So there's no WNBA games coming on today, but tomorrow will be game 5 of the WNBA final series. Last night, I saw the first quarter of the NBA's preseason, okay? It was Golden State Warriors versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, it's like the game that just happened a couple days before yesterday's. The Los Angeles Lakers lost, okay, to the Golden State Warriors. And I saw, actually we celebrated Bronny James. He finally made a point, or, he made a point in the first quarter, so, I have to applaud him. And it got me thinking, okay, because this is not the first time I thought about this, because there's been a lot of discourse, a lot of discussions, a lot of debates, and even some angry birds out here about, nepotism in the NBA and nepotism in sports. You see it in the NFL, Deion Sanders, when he took that job as a head coach. It was just a whole, like, black people, the way that we, take our sports so seriously and everything, Jay-Z in the NFL, it's just very fascinating. But if you guys don't know, there's been a lot of discourse and debate about just how the NBA, just basketball, but specifically the men's side in the NBA, how much it has changed and how much it has evolved. And it had me thinking too, like, when you think about it, the NBA is becoming a rich man's sport. Okay, and I found an article that'll back me up. Now, this article, it was published January 7th, 2014. This article is 10 years old. And let me tell you the title. It's titled, "If You Want to Be in the NBA, It Helps to Grow Up Rich." It says, part of what makes professional basketball appealing for kids who love to play as well as fans is the ideal that a person can come from humble beginnings and become a star. That's true. That used to be, low key. It says the players in the court, the narrative goes, are ones who rose to fame as a result of incredible dedication and extraordinary talent. Basketball, then, is a way out of poverty, a true equal opportunity sport that affirms that what we think America is all about. It says Steph Stephens, Daviat Witt crunched the numbers to find out if an equal opportunity story was true. Analyzing the economic background of NBA players, he found that growing up in a wealthy neighborhood, okay, the top 40% of household incomes, is a major positive predictor for success in professional basketball. Black players are also less likely than the general black male population to have been born to a young or single mother. So class privilege is an advantage for pro ball players, just like it is elsewhere in our economy. Continues, the richest black men then are most likely to end up in the NBA, followed by those in the bottom 20% of neighborhoods by income. Middle-class black men may like many middle-class white men see college as a more secure route to a successful future. Research shows that poor black men often see sports as a more realistic route out of poverty than college. It says, and that may not be wrong. It says this also helps explain why Jews dominated professional basketball in the first half of the 1900s. That is true. I remember, like, back in the day, like, I believe it was a white Canadian man that invented the game of basketball, like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And it was a lot of Jewish men playing basketball like over a century ago. It's crazy. It says LeBron James was right then when he said, "I'm LeBron James from Akron, Ohio. Hey, shout out Buckeyes. From the inner city, I am not even supposed to be here." The final phrase disrupts our mythology about professional basketball. That being poor isn't an obstacle if one has talent and drive. But as Stephens David Orwitz reminds us, anyone from a difficult environment, no matter his athletic prowess, has the odds stacked against him. Again, I'm just read you a little comment I saw on Reddit talking about the same very topic just 2 months ago. It says, is the NBA becoming a rich man's sport? It says, an underrated part of the Bronny James discourse I've noticed is that the NBA is no longer a league of getting it out of the mud. Remember that? Like, black people, that quote, I had to get it out the mud. Nobody handed me anything. I had an absent father, a young, poor, single mother that was working 2 to 3 jobs. Like, I had to, like, get it out the mud, literally. Like I started in the trenches, okay? Started from the bottom, now we're here. Because that whole idea of the poor kid going to the local backtop court to work on his game and getting his family out of a rough situation is no longer as prevalent. Most NBA prospects these days are sons of upper-class parents, more so than before. That's absolutely correct. Half of Team USA U17 team is full of NBA players' sons. Because lower income and regular income kids can't compete with the kids who's getting pro trainers, afford to go to top AAU programs, travel around the world, go to top prestigious high schools and such. With this talent level has gone up, as this is the natural progression of all sports like hockey and baseball. Does the idea of basketball becoming a rich kid sport concern you, or is it a fair trade-off for a better basketball product? I'm going to answer that question. I say yes and no. And the reason why I say no, okay, a lot of people, I remember Wimby, okay, he's huge. He's biracial, by the way. That's another thing. Like, okay, so I don't want this video to be too long, but a lot of people were like, have you noticed, like, in the last year's draft, like 2023, 2024, yeah, this year's NBA draft, a lot of the players, not a lot, like not even half, but it was noticeable that a lot of them were biracial. Okay, not even white men, but a lot of them have, sorry, a lot of them were half white, half black young men. And people were like, the NBA now stands for National Biracial Association. And again, there's nothing wrong with mixed racing, race mixing, interracial dating. I'm all for it. Love who you love. Make as many, mixed exotic babies as you can. But they saying that, again, the theory is, and I can't lie, okay? Call me what you want, okay? But we just talking, okay? I know it's kind of controversial. People don't like to talk about race in America, but it is what it is. Is it just me? Because, okay, even players like Wimby and other players will tell you, like, it seems like a lot of basketball players are losing their passion to play basketball. Like the professional NBA players, it's like that passion is just not there. I'm sorry. When I look at like clips from back in the day, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, that was like one of my first crushes as a little girl. First, I loved me some Will Smith, and then immediately after him, it was Allen Iverson. Okay, Allen Iverson was everything. And it's like that passion, that heart, that drive. It was like that ambition. It was like that natural aggression. It was that aggression and passion to win. And it's like, again, I hate that. I'm sorry, guys. I can't remember his name, but it was a basketball player. And he said something along the lines, I think it was last year, he quoted something along the line saying that it would surprise you how many NBA players just don't have the passion. Like, he's like, they literally just do it for a check. Okay? I'm like, is it that half black, half Filipino guy? His last name is Clark. I'm not sure if it was him, but hey, speaking of him, he's biracial, right? He's half black, half Filipino. The Austin Rivers, but how many other Blake Griffins, taking over? And it's not, and I'm not saying that only the biracial players. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Only the biracial players don't have that passion, that talent, that aggression that we've seen in the NBA for the past like when it really was like in its prime, like the 70s onwards, right? You're starting to see more privileged young men, boys and young men who had their fathers were, previous football players, NFL players, NBA players, get into the game of basketball, NBA, NFL, specifically the NBA, because they had like that height advantage, right? It's the genetics, the hereditary. A lot of their moms also probably were, athletic, so they were athletes themselves. Like look at the Barr brothers. Their mom is 6 feet tall. She played volleyball. Their dad, LeVar, is 6'5". He played basketball. And it's like, you know what? I have this natural, length, this height on me. Why not pick up a ball and make millions of dollars? But it's like, that's not enough to not, one, just be a good or above average basketball player. And it doesn't make a good product that's entertaining. Okay? And again, it's like, I believe it was the GM, whoever the GM was for the NBA back in 2006, 2007. He himself said something along the lines of, we want to go to a more European style play when it comes to the NBA. Like they literally told us that, like, look, not again, like, I'm not saying like they're trying to push African Americans out of the sport of NBA, because again, I don't believe it's even possible. Black people, we just naturally love basketball. But the fact that, like, remember after the Malice and the Palace, Allen Iverson coming, tattooed up. Now they have the men have to show up to the games and pre-games in suits and all this nonsense. It's like it was these chains of events that have brought us to what it is today. So many people were complaining how the NBA All-Star games is just boring. People are saying like they're turning away from the NBA. They said, who cares about the playoffs? Who cares about the finals, the semifinals, the preseason? They said like it's just boring to see a bunch of privilege. Again, like this is not just coming from me, but some privileged, spoiled brats who had very, wealthy fathers, even wealthy mothers. Okay, they've been playing basketball. They have the top nutritionists, top chefs, top basketball camps all their lives. Look at Sierra Canyon in Los Angeles, California. That's pretty much a school for celebrity kids. Chris Brown's daughter goes there. She's playing basketball. Juju Watkins, shout out to her. She attended there, played basketball. Bronny James, shout out to him. He attended there and played basketball. So you're starting to see, and again, like it makes sense. As a parent, if I was a parent, if I had children, if I had the means, I would get my son and daughter in basketball camps, football camps, tennis, lacrosse, whatever they want to play from a young age, because I have that money. And I understand, like, it's important for children to play sports so they can be well-rounded, and it's important for them to have that high self-esteem of themselves. So, of course, if I have the money, right, because I'm tall, like let's just say I'm like a 6 foot tall woman who loves basketball. I played basketball. My husband's 6'4". He also played basketball. Our genes come together. We got tall sons and tall daughters. Since the age of 5, I throw a basketball in their hands and say, hey, this is called a basketball. You're gonna love this. You're gonna learn to love it. You're gonna learn to know it. You're gonna learn everything there is about basketball. Since the age of 5, I put them in all kinds of basketball camps, very expensive Nike pro basketball camps and leagues. and throughout the summer, during the school year, and then they turn 18. I say, okay, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's time for you to declare for the NBA. Time for you to declare for the WNBA. Does that child really have the same passion and level of skill? Maybe the skill, but again, like the passion. Even with skill and talent, again, without the passion, it's like, what's the point? I hope I'm making sense to y'all, right? Again, it's like the Bronny James. Like people have been like just dragging this young man. It's like again, like y'all gotta give him some time to cook. But at the same time, it does seem like there is a difference. Look at Shaquille O'Neal and his sons. Look at Carmelo Anthony and his son. And look at LeBron James. Okay, he didn't grow up with a wealthy father. Okay, he didn't even know who his father was. He just had his single mother, Gloria James, raising him. But you know what? He got it literally out the mud. Allen Iverson, no father. He got it out the mud. I believe Michael Jordan may have had both of his parents, but I think he still grew up poor in North Carolina. Got it out the mud. I'm just saying, guys, I don't know about y'all. Besides Steph Curry, okay? Again, Steph Curry had a father who was also, Dale was in the NBA. He had a successful career. He surpassed his father, though. I can't be the only one. Let's be honest. The men who grew up like rough, kind of in the hood, broken families, absent fathers, single mothers, young single mothers, they seem to have more talent, grit, strength, and just like this aggression about it that I enjoy to watch. Again, I like aggression when it comes to sports. That then the privilege players have, okay, whether they be biracial or fully black. Again, like I'd rather see LeBron James, Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan, them play compared to say Austin Rivers, Seth Curry. Steph Curry, I do like him, but like the more privileged players, it's like they just don't have that grit to them. Okay, and it's because is it because they're spoiled? Like I've heard quotes that saying like good times make weak men and hard times make strong men. Seems like if you raise a boy and he's spoiled and you give him everything, it's true. Like what they say, especially in the black community, when we coddle these boys, if you have a son, right, and if you coddle him, you protect him from the world. You don't make him earn anything, right? He just gets whatever he wants served to him on a silver platter, right? Without putting in no work, having no discipline. Just give him everything without him actually having to pull himself up by his bootstraps. It seems like it spells disaster. Like y'all creating these entitled men. They can't survive on their own. They complain about everything. It's like they're just so weak. And it's like, honestly, I do see that in a lot of the privileged players in the NBA. I'm sorry. Okay, Wemby said it. He's like, a lot of these guys don't even care about basketball and their jobs. Okay, they just know that they got a height advantage. Their dad is rich. Okay, and Carmelo Anthony, his son he's pretty decent. But it's like, could he surpass his father? And is it because Carmelo Anthony had to it's like I have to either do or die. I gotta get my family out of the situation by having that true grit, that strength, and that ambition and aggression to drive me out. Whereas him is like, he's his father's worth like over $300 million. He's slept in like the best king size bed since he was 12, possibly younger than that. Went to training camps. Like everybody just hands you everything because you're Carmelo Anthony's son, because you're LeBron James' son. Whereas those guys, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, nobody gave them anything, and it shows in their hard work, their dedication, and the way that they play basketball. Tennis player Anna Kournikova, I remember she said that her father, growing up in Florida, he actually started working another job as a dishwasher just to pay for her tennis training. She said that she wanted to attend a tennis school. It was over like $20,000 a year. It costs over $20,000 a year just for this girl to attend tennis school. Okay, this tennis training camp. Her father started washing dishes on the side to pay for it. Look at her now. Again, like I understand that parents who have the means, or if you don't have the means, they go out to get the means. Like her dad, her father sounds incredible. And Anna's father investing money into his daughter's tennis school. Again, he's getting dividends out. But at the same time, she's also, a skilled player. So again, I guess it's like nature versus nurture. All in all, guys, what are your thoughts about this? Do you believe that the NBA players that we see today, the ones that are privileged, who grew up very privileged and wealthy with wealthy parents, do you think that it's kind of watered down their game, their talent, their strength, their skills, and their overall ambition? Comment down below.